Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Apex Legends video. My name is Sweat if you guys are new. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about a lot of Apex Legends throwback items that day ones would remember. And well, not really day ones, but the older player base, like back in the day, you'd have to be playing this game for a good long period of time to even remember that these things existed in the game if I weren't bringing them up right now. And it's going to jog a lot of your memory, so this is going to be a fun video to make for me. And of course we can make a part 2 if you guys want, so just comment it down below. Obviously drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And before today's video does begin, I have to give a quick shout out to the sponsor, which is Glitch Energy. You know, I am signed to them and I do use the product almost every day before I go to work out and before I hop on and game. It just makes the gaming process so much more enjoyable and gives me energy to keep going throughout the whole process. Also, the reason that I do like Glitch so much is they have a ton of products that will actually help your eyesight. They have products that will help against blue light, and they also have products that will help with headaches. I get migraines all the time, so this is one of my go-to products. And if you guys want to buy anything off of glitchenergy.com, use code SWEAT for 25% off your purchase. You are not going to regret it. The first thing that we're going to be talking about today is the gold execution armor. And what I mean by this, a lot of you guys have not heard of a lot of these items that I'm going to mention in this video, so I'm going to briefly explain most of these items. So what the gold execution armor did was, if you completed a finisher on an enemy, you would gain your shields back. Now if you think to the game right now in its current state, you could have a white shield, you could have a blue shield, a purple shield, a red shield. It does not matter. Whatever shield you have, if you complete a finisher, it recharges your shield. All right, a lot of you guys will know that if you're playing the game currently. But back in the day, that was the gold armor special ability, basically. And this was way before Evo shields were even added into the game. So Evo shields did a lot in lowering the RNG in the game, because you had to look all the way around the map for white shields, blue shields, and purple shields back then. There was no Evo shields. Like I said, you did not start out with those white armors. So that was the gold armor ability back when the game first came out. I believe up until the Evo shields were introduced, but I could be wrong on that. It only might have been the first couple seasons. So the next item we're going to be talking about today is the gold bag fast heals. And this is what a lot of people miss about the early seasons of Apex Legends, was this gold bag fast heal. And what it did was it made healing just like it sounds. It made healing super quick. Like you could pop a battery in 1 second or 1.5 seconds. I don't know the exact time it took. Shield cells definitely took like a second or less, syringes a second or less. So this was the thing to have. This gold bag was the thing to have if you were a solo player trying to pick apart enemy teams, whether it was 1v3. Well, there was no duos back in the day, so it was only 1v3ing at the time. If you played the game solo, you needed this gold bag fast heal, because you could single out an enemy, take them out, and let's say you got your shields cracked, you could just pop a battery in like 1 to 1.5 seconds, get right back in the fight. And you guys think like 1 to 1.5 seconds, that is not a lot of time at all. Like you pop behind a tree, pop that battery, pop back out, and you have full shields already, while the enemies are over here healing for 5 seconds. You know, it just made the game so much easier back in the day. And I honestly wish this would make a return, because that would make things really interesting. Like I said, it would make 1v3ing and 1v2ing in the current state of the game really interesting and a lot easier, honestly. Next up is the Hammerpoint attachment that could go on the P2020 or the Mozambique. Now, back in the day, the Hammerpoint rounds were absolutely crazy, especially on the P2020. You could spray this thing like crazy, and it was like a 4 to 5 bullet kill. And just think, you're using a pistol with about 12 to 15, 18, however many bullets that you have in a magazine on this pistol. You could just rapid fire that sucker, and it was hitting like bricks. It was hitting like a shotgun, especially when you put it on this Mozambique. I believe it was a 2 or 3 shot kill with the Hammerpoint rounds. Absolutely deadly. One of the most fun attachments or most fun hop-ups that was ever introduced into Apex Legends. Honestly, I think they should bring it back on the P2020 at least. Doesn't have to go on the Mozambique, because the Mozambique is low-key one of the best shotguns in the game right now if you get that purple bolt on it. But at least have that sucker on the P2020, because man, that was definitely a fun time. And I saw a lot of people using that, not only in public matches, but also comp, like high tier comp. People are using that P2020 to their advantage. and it was knocking people out very, very quickly. So I don't know. I'm on the petition to bring that back into the game. I think that would be fun and interesting and spice the game up a little bit more in the current state. Next is the Lifeline Fast Heal and Lifeline Res Shield. This was prime Lifeline right in the beginning of the game. Lifeline was honestly one of the most powerful characters in all of Apex Legends. The fast heal ability made it like she had a gold bag permanently. Like I was telling you, back in the day, the gold bag would grant you fast heal abilities. So Lifeline had this permanently. That's why she was one of the most played legends back in the day. And over the period of Apex Legends, throughout its progression, Lifeline has become less and less popular due to the fact that her fast heal ability got removed. And also, the second part of this one was that Lifeline Res Shield that was introduced, I believe, in about Season 5 or 6, in the middle of Apex Legends lifespan. So you had to be playing this game for a while to know what that is. And basically, that was a shield that appeared in front of your teammate once you hit the res button. And then you could also fight while that was going off. And you could do this to only one person at a time. But once that person got up and was fully res, then you could do it to another person and it would give them the shield. So this was very powerful and two of Lifeline's best moments. Once these were both removed, I don't know, I think the current state of Lifeline is probably the weakest she's ever been. She had her run in the beginning of the game, so there's a lot of Lifeline mains that still stuck it out, and trust me, I sympathize with you guys because they want a buff so bad on the current Lifeline. Next up, we have the Select Fire Havoc and the Select Fire Prowler. So on the Havoc, the Select Fire made it so you could shoot a single bullet, but I believe it took up multiple shots of ammo, which kind of didn't make any sense in my opinion. But nonetheless, that was not really a viable option. The Select Fire Havoc got pulled out of the game after a short time because not a lot of people were using it whatsoever. But the Select Fire Prowler was an absolute animal. You switch this thing on and you could basically shoot full auto Prowler. So I mean, a lot of people didn't like it and a lot of people did, but personally, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought the fully automatic version was the way to go, but the damage per second with the burst Prowler actually does more. So technically the burst is better, but like I said, in my opinion, the fully automatic Prowler was an absolute demon. I loved using this weapon and I wish they would bring it back into the game. They used to have the Select Fire attachment on the gold Prowler as well, but they took that out of the game when the gold Prowler obviously got removed. So I mean, that is not in the game any longer, and I believe that recently just got taken out. It wasn't taken out of the game very early, but just a bit recently. Next up is the Skullpiercer hop up, which went on the wingman and the longbow. This did, I believe, 100 to 110 damage, which killed you in 2 headshots, which was absolutely crazy back in the day. I only remember this hop up being in the game on the original Kings Canyon map and the original World's Edge map, but I could be wrong on that. That's the most vivid memory I have of this hop up, and memorable moments were on those 2 maps. But this thing was absolutely crazy. Like I said, back in the day, there was no red Evo shield, so the maximum amount of health that you would get was 200. So no matter what, this thing killed you in 2 shots to the head. And this was a crazy hop up, especially like how good people are nowadays. If you had this hop up in the game, you would go instantly down, and yikes, I don't know, that would lead to a lot of rage, a lot of broken controllers or mouses and keyboards. Like, this would get crazy in the game right now. So it would be wild if they brought that hop up back. Next is the original Kings Canyon map, the OG Kings Canyon map with Skull Town in it. We had cascades, we had bridges, we had a ton of spots that are deeply missed in today's Apex Legends. But to be honest with you guys, the map, or like the skill level of the players, kind of outgrew the map. So we needed a larger map, which then was World's Edge, then Olympus, and now we have Stormpoint, which I know a lot of people don't like these newer maps, but you know, OG Kings Canyon will be always forever where it all started. A lot of people's careers got started on Kings Canyon. And I mean, it's just pure nostalgia going back on that map. I know they brought back Skull Town multiple times. It just doesn't feel the same as it once did back in the day. And, you know, it's one of those things where you would give up a ton Like, I would pay a good amount of money to go back to that point in my life to just first be playing Kings Canyon again, learning the map. It's just such an unreal process, and you know, it's definitely going to be missed as the newer maps are made. Kings Canyon, always the GOAT, always the original, forever in our hearts. Next is that any sight in the game, I believe, I mean, up to the 4x ACOG, I don't think you could slap a sniper scope on an SMG, but basically any sight could go on an SMG unless it was a sniper scope. Like, you could have, obviously, the 1x, the hollow, the 2x, and then you could even have the 3x or the 2 to 4x HCOG sights on an SMG. So just imagine a 2 to 4x sight on an R99, on a Volt, on a car SMG. Imagine how hard it would be to control the car with a 2 to 4x sight on it. Like, that would be absolutely crazy. And I feel like no one was using these sights, obviously, because they're on SMGs. They just really weren't practical to the game. That's why they took them out. But in the beginning, you could use any sight on these, and it was crazy. Like, there was a ton of fun challenges you could do with these sights. Like, let's say if you're a streamer, a lot of the people's chats would dare them to use like the 4x sight on the R99, and it was just really, really hard to control the recoil. And it made for a very fun time. Not the most practical, so I do see why they took that out of the game. Number 9 is going to be the double tap attachment, and this thing sucked. This thing was absolutely terrible. I feel like nobody actually used this. That's why they took this out of the game. But honestly, they still have it on the Scout right now. If you pick up a heirloom Scout, like a red Scout in the care packages on Storm Point or on World's Edge, anytime in the current game when you're playing, look out for this. Before you switch the double tap off, it's on the weapon. So, I mean, it shoots 2 bullets back to back. It's a very stupid attachment, in my opinion. Like, it sounded good, like, when they released it, but once people saw how it worked, it just doesn't work. I don't know. It's just not a thing that needs to be in the game, and that is why they took it out of the game. I don't know why they put it on the Scout right now. I don't think anybody enjoys it. I don't think anybody actually uses it, but it's actually still in the game to this day. But back in the day, they had it on the ground, so you could put it on a ton of different weapons. And, you know, they had it on the Eva, obviously the Scout. This was just not it, so that's why they took it out of the game. And to wrap it up for this episode of Throwback Items, number 10, we have that you could carry 3 batteries and 6 syringes. Also, ammo stacks were a lot larger back in the day. The looting system was all different. Backpack arrangements, you could carry 2 thermites, I believe, in 1 slot. There was a ton of things that you could do. The backpack inventory, like I said, we're just going to label that number 10 here. Backpack inventory was so much different. Honestly, a lot better in my opinion. Like I said, you could carry a lot more ammo, more batteries, more syringes, but, you know, they had to lower it. They had to take it out of the game for some reason. I forever will think that back in the day, I mean, the looting system was terrible, like going in and out of boxes, but the fact that you could carry a lot of these items, a lot more of these items, made the game a lot more fun in my opinion. And, you know, not really sure why they took this one out. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will catch you in the next one, and comment down below if you want me to make another one of these, because this was a lot of fun to make and reminisce in the throwback items that only day ones would remember, older players would remember. You know, brought back a lot of good memories. So anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe. Peace out.